This episode of Out of Spec Reviews is brought to you by Magna. More on that later.
Welcome back to Out of Spec Reviews, and welcome to the inside of a Rivian R1T. I'm not actually here to talk about the truck, actually. This is, the Rivian has a Meridian sound system, a really good sound system. And, it sounds great. Here's a, song by Uwe, one of my favorites. And it sounds so good. The sound system's set up so well. But I'm here to talk about something else. It's the camp speaker. That's the sound it makes when you pull it out of its little hiding place in the center console. So this is the Rivian camp speaker. That's what it's called. Oh, there's the pairing noise. So I have paired it with my phone already. On the back here are buttons. There's a pairing button, you hold it down to pair, and there's also a light button. So you hold that down, a couple seconds. There, full brightness lamp. They call this a lamp, which is really cool. It's meant to be taken on camping trips. And this comes stock on the launch edition, and it comes included when you get the adventure pack. So the idea is, if you're adventurous enough, you'll camp and you'll use this. Now, holding the light for 2 seconds again will turn it off entirely, but you can also cycle between brightness levels. So hit it once for 30% brightness, twice for 60%, and then one more time for the full 100%. There's also a USB-C port right there, which I can plug in, and this is a way to remotely charge your device, so my phone for example, or you can charge the speaker when you're out and about, if you want to take the speaker with you. So that's pretty cool. There are more buttons up top. There's an action button, which is really just turning it off and on, volume up and down, play and pause, and then double or triple tapping the play and pause button will proceed to the next track or reverse to the previous track. And then yeah, I don't actually know what this other button does. Oh, that's to reset the speaker, I think. Oh, it's a mute button, that's what that is. So yeah, really great design. I want to talk about the material and the design, the feel first. And a little bit of plastic up here, nice grab handle. When you reach your hand inside there, it's actually really nice and rubbery, like it just feels solid to lift out. And mesh on all sides, which is pretty cool. You really can't tell where the speakers are because of that. And then reflective material in all the little crevices, Rivian of course written right here. That's what gives the lamp more effectiveness. The lights come out on the bottom on all 4 sides, and they shine on this reflective material, which kind of illuminates along the ground if this were to sit on the ground when you're camping. So got the little Rivian crosshair thing logo there, and this little thing on the bottom is the charging pins. The charging pins are how you charge the speaker when you want to use the truck. So sliding it into the truck down there, that will just charge it, and it says up to about 3 hours to charge from empty to full, so that's the maximum charging time. This I actually think is the lock for when you put it in there, because the truck has to be, I think, off or unlocked for you to actually pull the speaker out. So you can't just do it while you're driving accidentally, or like if you slam on the brakes, it won't just slide out and hit whatever you have in the storage area down there. But yeah, really, really good design, and it weighs a decent amount. Not actually sure how much it weighs, a couple pounds at least, but it just feels very solid. I'm not per se like a Bluetooth speaker enthusiast, but I kind of am. I had some back in the day, and then as soon as Apple released the HomePod, that's all I've used, like religiously. And that's kind of my peak like Bluetooth speaker, although the HomePod doesn't really use Bluetooth, and it's not it's not mobile. It has to be plugged into a wall outlet. This completely mobile. Now let's talk a few more specs here. I actually have them written down just so I don't forget, but 32 watt hours on the battery, and it can charge at up to 30 watts. So yeah, up to, but and like I said, you can charge from the USB-C here if you're out and about and not in your truck. Like let's say you took your truck backpacking and then you're out on the trail and you want to charge it from something else, or you're in a cabin, you want to charge it inside without going out to the truck to charge a speaker. Totally doable. So this was developed in-house. So the truck it uses Meridian elevation speaker system developed with Meridian. And I think it's, I don't know how many speakers, like 11 or 16, I don't know, one of those numbers, with a sub under the rear right seat. This was developed in-house using parts from Timpani. And the actual parts we're talking about are a subwoofer and 2 mid-range drivers and a tweeter. Now that's kind of an interesting choice if you ask me. The HomePod, for example, has 1 subwoofer and 7 tweeters, no dedicated mid-range drivers. So, how do you think it sounds? That's really the next question. So, let's find out.
This episode is proudly brought to you by Magna. Magna is a mobility technology company that is super unique because they touch every aspect of almost every car in the market, especially a lot of electric vehicles, and they even can produce vehicles from the ground up. Now, you may remember I shot a series just recently testing some of their new electric vehicle powertrains, so stay tuned for a lot of Magna content to come. We're going to be going in depth with some really interesting topics with these guys, and Out of Spec wants to thank Magna for sponsoring this review and tons of other videos to come right here on Out of Spec. We look forward to working with Magna to define and find out what the future of mobility looks like.
Of course, you're not going to like really be able to tell from this microphone I'm using. You just have to somewhat hear it for yourself. But let me play that same song we just listened to, and I'll talk you through a bit of what I'm thinking. And this is at half volume for reference. So right off the bat, pretty clear, not like really nice clear highs, which is not, unexpected because there's only 1 dedicated tweeter. That's one downside to not having a bunch of tweeters. But as the lower notes start hitting, you start to realize the extension. It really does have some impressive bass. All right, let's see what happens here. That note especially, I'm impressed with the bass. So, it appears that the tweeters and mid-range extend from the sides, the sub largely extends from the front, and the back actually doesn't seem to have any speaker. It just has a matching kind of material there to give the illusion, that's the word, of having a speaker there. So, but that's really impressive. And that was, again, half volume. Now, they say they can get up to 6.5 hours of battery life on a single charge with only audio. That's not using the lamp function. I'm assuming that might be a bit lower volume, but let me show you what happens when you, let's do a different song here. Dedicated bass guitar, a bit more of like a real alt rock song. So yeah, really good, really clear. Let me just throw it to max just to show you what happens. So it definitely falls apart a little bit. There's a little bit of compression there. You start to realize there's not as much separation. My top volume I would personally use, maybe for longevity, but also for the actual listening experience, would be about 75–80%. But that's really, honestly, impressive. Like, I just keep saying that. This wasn't an Easter egg that Rivian threw in as like, oh, let's just take some crappy thing off the shelf and throw it in there and people can listen to music when they're camping and anything. They actually put time and effort into this, and I think it was really a worthy Easter egg. So let me quickly compare the truck sound system to the speaker. So that was about 66% volume. So it really is impressive. That just highlights how insanely good the Meridian system is in the Rivian. This is still good, but and given the fact that it's compacted into this little thing and doesn't weigh that much and can last a decent amount of charge, I mean easily an evening around a campsite. I wish every car had this, honestly, and if your car doesn't have this, you should still buy something like this. It makes camping really fun. But this still is really impressive. But it doesn't quite hold a candle to the actual Rivian sound system. Now, this runs on Bluetooth pretty much exclusively. I don't think it actually uses the USB connection to manipulate data through the speaker. I wish it did, because that could, in theory, be a bit better. This operates on Bluetooth 4.2, so it's not like a really, really high quality new codec of Bluetooth, and I wish it could be wired, because that could, in theory, be a bit higher quality. Or even use like Wi-Fi, but Bluetooth is still totally fine. And I think if you're camping, you're not looking for this audiophile experience. So something else to point out is, I think the fact that it has 2 mid-range drivers is good. I mean, that adds a bit of, I guess, mid clarity, but that can also be a bit muddier. Like, I wish they had concentrated more on the tweeters like the HomePod did, and not so much on the mid-range. Perhaps in a second generation that's what they'll do, but for a first try, first effort, this is so good. Now, if you want to know everything about how to use this, I mean, I've shown you pretty much here, but Rivian, conveniently with their owner's guide, lets you go in and boom, like if you go to the camping section under camping and off-road, here is the entire tutorial and everything you need to know about the speaker. Oh, there it is too, 5.7 pounds, that's the weight. So, really, really awesome. I just, again, think it's kind of funny that the lantern says 50% brightness gives you 4 hours, and that's not even an option, which it could come in a future software update. That's the thing, this will automatically update its own software through the connection to the truck. So that's pretty awesome. Then, that gives them the thought that they're doing future proofing on the speaker gives me hope. One thing they do point out that was curious per se is the operating ambient temperature is 32 degrees to 104 degrees, that's Fahrenheit, so 0 to 40 Celsius. So if you're camping below freezing, it really is not recommended to use this. I know a lot of people do that sort of camping. So this is the quote-unquote fair weather speaker and lantern from Rivian.
Jordan, what are you holding over here?
This is the Rivian camp speaker, which is also a lamp. And this is maximum brightness, I should say.
Seriously, that's it?
So yeah, let me start off.
I mean, maybe we shouldn't complain. It's a pretty cool lantern.
Oh yeah, so picture this.
Wait, put it on the ground so we get a good idea of light output.
In the grass, actually.
Oh, in the grass.
Picture this,
okay.
You're in the woods.
There's no concrete in the woods.
Literally no lights but the stars. And then you fire this baby up. That's 30%. That's 60%. And that's 100%.
Wow, lighten up. You can see it from space.
Yep. But boy, does it sound good.
And just for stark comparison, Timon, what do you have over here? First off, what are you doing?
I'm strapping down your sand.
Thank you. Weight ballast for a trailer. Video coming soon.
Oh, thank God I have this light, but I've got a better one. 1,000 lumen door light.
Dang.
So yeah, that is the 7,777th battery cell in the Rivian R1T.
What?
That they shoved in the door.
7,777. Why is that?
The battery pack has 7,776 batteries.
21700 cells.
Yep, and that's the 7,777th. So it's the exact same cell that's in the battery pack.
It's really freaking bright.
And 1,000 lumens. Yeah. A kilolumen. Is that how
So
you
they
measure
took all the power that should have had and put it in that little thing.
Name a better duo. I'll wait.
Wait, is this powered by Rivian batteries?
No.
Yeah.
That's why it's so dim.
And now you join us for the final test where we're working on some other things here. let's test the range of this out in the open environment, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, so Jordan's gonna hook it up, putting the light on, just so we can locate. Is that the light at full?
It was full.
That was full, okay. That light should be a little brighter. All right, so he's putting it out into the wilderness here, right off the side of the highway. It's pretty much midnight. And crank it. So is that max? Oh, wow. That's pretty loud.
So yeah, this is the other song we used earlier in the video to do some testing. I'm impressed.
That'll light up a campground, no problem.
Yeah, not the light, but the music.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, not the light. You can barely see it over there.
That's fantastic.
I mean, yeah, considering like some people bring these giant ass speakers to campgrounds.
This comes with your truck.
So what's louder, the truck with the doors open or this thing?
See, yeah, that's what's interesting. I think originally their concept was to have a speaker that seamlessly paired with the truck system, so you could like take
amplify the truck.
Yeah, so you take the speaker out somewhere else, and someone else is staying with the truck in the camp kitchen and cooking and listening to the truck, and someone else has this, but they don't work together yet. But like I said earlier, software updates, things can happen.
Things need to happen.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. The Rivian. We're having a nice camping ground.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, for many Rivian owners, this is going to be more of the campground than the campgrounds. What do you think?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, Rivian camp speaker.
Yeah, just pitch a tent right here next to the highway while you wait for these slow-ass charge point chargers to charge the truck.
So, let us know what you think in the comments, and let us know what Bluetooth speakers you recommend to people who maybe don't have a Rivian. Because I really think if you camp, this is just a fun way to add to the adventure. So, that's it for the Rivian camp speaker. And yeah, we'll see you in another video very soon, because we have a lot of stuff on this truck.